warm welcome to State of Business on Art Television. I'm Heshain Ali and let's have a look at the headlines first. Revised Colombo Port City land deed was handed over to the Chinese company in the presence of President Maithripala Sirisena. Finance Ministry stated that the luxury tax imposed on motor vehicles will not be applicable to small motor vehicles. News in detail. The revised Colombo Port City land deed was handed over in the presence of President Maithripala Sirisena and the Chinese ambassador Chang Soo-young at the Presidential Secretariat yesterday. The land grant was first handed over to Urban Development Authority and the UDA handed over the land under a lease agreement to Checkport City Colombo Private Limited. The land grant was handed over by Secretary of Ministry of Megapolis and Western Development Nihal Rupasinghe to UDA Director General S.P. Ratnayake in the presence of President Maithripala Sirisena and Chinese Ambassador Chang Soo-young yesterday. President Maithripala Sirisena said that the Port City project was an important investment for the long-term economic development of Sri Lanka and expressed hope that it would attract massive foreign investments. The President also said that when his government came to power in 2015, it took immediate steps to renegotiate the Colombo Port City Agreement to ensure that Sri Lanka's sovereignty was not adversely affected by the land transfer. During the discussions, the two parties could arrive at a mutually acceptable agreement to ensure the land rights would remain with Sri Lanka, he further said. The Finance Ministry yesterday stated that the luxury tax imposed on motor vehicles will not be applicable to small motor vehicles. As proposed in Budget 2019 by Finance Minister Mangala Samaravira in the amendment to the Finance Act, the luxury tax on motor vehicles will be imposed only for luxury cars and jeeps, and the new tax does not apply to any small cars. Thus, vans, single cabs, double cabs, motorcycles and motor tricycles are also not subjected to this luxury tax. Earlier, double cabs were imposed under the luxury tax, but it will be removed from 1st November. This luxury tax will be effective from 6 March 2020 and the new tax will be applied to all luxury vehicles imported with letters of credit opened after 6th March. As per the new regulations, the luxury tax will only be imposed when importing diesel and petrol cars and jeeps worth over 3.5 million rupees, and only the amount exceeding this limit will be taxed. It further emphasized that this luxury tax will not be imposed on small vehicles. Thus, Toyota Vitz, Suzuki Avery, Toyota Rumi, Suzuki Alto, Suzuki Baleno, Daihatsu Petrol, Honda Grace, Suzuki Wagon-R, Toyota Aqua and also normal Axio, Premio and Allion models will also be free from the luxury tax. Now let's move on to the next President segment to see what the latest political news are. Presidential candidate of the New Democratic Front, Sajith Premadasa, reiterated that no matter who or how many sling mud at him and his team, they as a future government will provide sanitary facilities to all women who are deprived of it. NDF candidate attended a number of public rallies even yesterday targeting the presidential election due on the 16th of next month. Addressing the rallies, NDF presidential candidate Sajith Premadasa said that his opponents are slinging mud at him for a recent statement he made over a progressive decision he took on behalf of the women community. He said that the women community is facing a severe problem at present and a majority of women do not follow proper sanitary procedures during menstruation, resulting them to suffer with several severe medical complications. Minister Premadasa also said that nearly 70% of women in Sri Lanka have fallen victim of numerous medical conditions and only 30% of women follow proper sanitary procedures. He suggested that the government should initiate sustainable solutions for all of these issues and assured that under a new government led by him, he will provide sanitary facilities to all women who are deprived of it. He further said that he will also establish medical units at every school which provide education to girls, enabling the empowerment and development of all 51.8% female population of this country. Sri Lankan Tharudaru Association yesterday said that the association will back SLPP presidential candidate Gotabaya Rajapaksa in the forthcoming election. Sri Lankan Tharudaru Association is formed by the younger generation of the artists of Sri Lanka. The representatives of the association highlighted that it was formed since the current government could not meet the requirements of the younger generation of the country. Addressing a media briefing in Colombo yesterday, President of Sri Lanka Tharudaru Association Praveen Ratnayaka mentioned that the association backs a leader who can pledge to save the free education, security, economy and the pride of Sri Lanka. Thus, the association announced that it will support the SLPP presidential candidate Gotabaya Rajapaksa in the presidential election, claiming that the proposals mentioned in the election manifesto by Gotabaya Rajapaksa are in line with the aforementioned key priorities of the association.
Since we are the youth of Sri Lanka, we need to take charge. We need to make sure that we have a development within this country, not just for us, but for everyone who resides in this country. So we have taken 4 initiatives, 4 pillars, that is the education pillar, the security and the economy and the pride, to call ourselves Sri Lankans. As mentioned before, education right now is not in a great place. We see people being hosed down, university students being hosed down and beaten. So that's not where we need to be with the education sector. We are the future, so we need to be able to compete with the world. Sri Lanka, I know, is a very small island, but we have the capacity to compete with the world. Taking security into concern, after 2009, we thought that the word war would never come in our vocabulary again. But take the Easter Sunday attack, and that fear came right back into our hearts. The people responsible, the government responsible, should change immediately.
And now let's move on to a short commercial break. Welcome back after the break. Organization of Voice for Justice calls for immediate action to stop selling the 2 Russian cancer treatment vaccines such as Hartican for the Sri Lankan community on exorbitant prices, raising questions of its standards. A media briefing was organized by the Voice for Justice yesterday to inform the community of a deceit conducted by the Health Ministry of Sri Lanka. During the media briefing, it was mentioned that these cancer treatment vaccines are imported to Sri Lanka since 2016, and then a complaint was lodged at the Presidential Commission against these imported drugs, which are below the standards. Speaking at the event, Colombo Municipal Councillor Sharmila Gonavale said that one particular Russian vaccine is used to treat the first-stage breast cancer patients, but it is not registered in the Health Ministry of Russia. Sharmila Gonavale also noted that out of 32 health experts, 28 have announced that this drug is not good for the consumption. The organization Voice for Justice has also said the said Russian vaccine had been rejected by the Sri Lanka College of Oncologists in the first quarter of 2017, fearing of complications as it was not commonly used around the world. Thus, a fraud exceeding 7 billion rupees have incurred due to the information of these drugs, and no remedy has been taken to the affected patients. Addressing the 18th summit of the non-aligned movement in Baku, Azerbaijan last week, Foreign Minister Tilak Marapana reaffirmed Sri Lanka's commitment to the founding principles of the non-aligned movement and called for groups' collective attention to the need to address contemporary global challenges, highlighting in particular poverty and terrorism.
Minister Tilak Marapana briefed the non-aligned movement member states on how alleviation of poverty has been at the core of Sri Lanka's development strategies, the country's endeavours to address the issues of social inequality, empowerment of women. He also highlighted the numerous welfare measures aimed at assisting the underprivileged. Referring to terrorism, which remains one of the most serious threats to international peace and security, he reiterated Sri Lanka's unequivocal condemnation of terrorism in all its forms and manifestations, and also pointed out the need to address violent extremism. Minister Marapan also emphasized the gravity of the issues of climate change and expressed hope that the 25th Conference of the Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change in Chile later this year will further galvanize global action to adapt to and mitigate the impacts of this global threat. Sri Lanka is a co-sponsor of the Bandung Conference of 1955, during which the core values of the non-aligned movement, known as the Bandung Principles, were formulated, and Sri Lanka is also a founding member of the non-aligned movement. Observing that poverty remains one of the greatest impediments to the achievement of the goals of the 23rd Development Agenda.
The cybersecurity agent Kaspersky recently launched its latest version of security solutions with the Kaspersky 2020 range in Sri Lanka. Kaspersky, in a media conference, recently launched its latest version in association with its distributor South Asian Technologies Private Limited. During the launch of Kaspersky 2020 in Sri Lanka, it was highlighted that constantly updating good security solutions is paramount and that it does not limit to updating the antivirus database but should also revamp the core mechanics of the antivirus while adding new features and improving the existing ones. This year, Kaspersky has focused on strengthening their defense against network exploits like the deadly internal blue used by malicious software such as WannaCry or SMB Loris. During a press conference, Tangible Sales Manager of Kaspersky in South Asia, Shiva Shankar Karade, spoke about the updates in the latest version and why they are necessary in today's global cybersecurity landscape.
Usually we use Wi-Fi to connect any network and we do some banking transactions. So doing such activities are very vulnerable. So we have a right features, set of features to protect you from there. The second normal thing what every individual does, we just go to a Google Play Store or any other Play Store and we just download the applications. We never go and see, okay, what is the application and is the application safe for us to download it and use it. So this is something what is taken care in Kaspersky 2020 version. We have something called Safe and Secure VPN in this. The next thing very important for our day-to-day life is again safe banking. We usually just open a browser, we just type the bank website and we just try to open it. In 2020 version we are talking about a feature called Safe Money. This will enable you to open any browser in a safe environment and you can do some banking transactions. So when we talk about the Kaspersky consumer products, it impacts you in a normal day-to-day life when you are using to do or you are using the internet to do your online transactions. So this is something what is packed in our 2020 versions.
Singer Sri Lanka introduced a range of new TV and audio products from Sony Electronics to the Sri Lankan market in Colombo last week. The launch included a range of new products under the Bravia OLED series of TVS, and along with this, a new product was also presented under the Sony headphones range. The newly upgraded range of TVS include the A9G Premium OLED TV, the Master Series A9G 4K OLED TV, A8G 4K OLED television series, X70G 4K HDR Smart TV, and the W660G Series 2K TV. Sony also expanded its audio products portfolio with the introduction of 3 new models to its high-power audio range: the MHCV8 2D, MHCV4 2D, MHCV02, and an exciting new outdoor one-box party speaker, the GTK PG10.
Our new range of high-powered audio system can offer a variety of sound mode and light display, plus entertainment features. I believe the products, which is made by music lovers, can be loved by music lovers like a Sri Lanka consumer. I hope you also enjoy the music with our new high-powered audio system.
Stay tuned for stock updates right after this commercial break. Welcome back after the break. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today. The all-share price index dropped 6.98 points to close at 5,957.27, and the S&P SL20 dropped 1.06 points to close at 2,950.33. The turnover was 651 million rupees and over 53 million shares were traded. Up next are forex rates. That's all news for today. Do join us tomorrow with State of Business. Until then, take care. Good night.